In today's video, we're going to talk about not only one, not only two, but actually 3 different 3D printed related services or platforms that are not only free, super beginner friendly, but also super useful for all different kinds of 3D printing needs that I think at least 20.8% of you will appreciate. Since that is the percentage who actually subscribes to this channel, why the rest of you have not yet subscribed, I honestly don't know, but what I do know is that we're going to start with this video right away. And as always, we're going to start with the best thing first, so I don't waste any more of your time. And today, that is something called Mesh Graffiti that we can find here in MakerLab on Maker World. And if you're not familiar with MakerLab in general, definitely go and check this out. There's so many cool different like functions or like design tools that helps you to create like amazing things in general. The newest edition that is currently in beta is the Mesh Graffiti tool, which is unbelievable. It is so good. So basically how this works, it just like adds all different kinds of like photos or images or even like text to your 3D prints directly. But the way that this works is just so easy and it looks so good. First thing that we're gonna get asked is to just upload an STL or 3MF file. You then have 3 tools here, which are the color brush, the text brush, and the image brush. And just so you get a hang of this, how this works, we're just gonna start with the color brush, just like the color brushes in Bamboo Studio. And if you want the complete color tutorial, I have another video that I go into that in much more detail. So we're just gonna skip this tool for now, but just know that this also is part of Mesh Graffiti. Instead, we're going to jump over to the second tool here, which is the text brush tool, which, spoiler alert, is not the coolest tool in Mesh Graffiti, but just to get an idea of how this thing actually works. So here we have the content and friendly hello in this case, and here we have the different fonts we can choose from. We can also upload up to 30 different fonts on our own, but I'm just going to go with these bold ones so you can easily see how amazing this tool is. We're also going to switch the color to black, and then I'm going to put this text here on the back there, and then I'm also going to put it here, like in this very awkward position in the corner. Now, pay close attention, sit down, make sure that you're prepared for this, because as I am rotating this little print now, you can see how this text will get added into this print. And this is basically it. If you just want to put up like a text or like your name or whatever, you just type it in here, you click once, and then you have it added in this print. I just wanted to show you here that if we do export, we can choose if we want to download the 3MF or this other GLB format, which I've never used. And then all I have to do is just click and open this in Bamboo Studio, and you will see right away how this text is added. And what I think is super cool, if we do slice this, that you will see that this is so good sliced, so good designed, and there will be like no issues whatsoever in the terms of the actual slicing. But we are far from done, because the most amazing tool in Mesh Graffiti is the image brush, where you can upload your own images and then with just one click getting it added to these prints. So as you can see, I have already uploaded a few different prints here. I just wanted, for the purpose of this video, I wanted to add this Maker World Mesh Graffiti logo. And basically I just went into like Gemini, asked them to come up with like a graffiti style thing in this case, and then literally all you have to do is to mark it. For example, here, just make it a little bit easier, we go on the top, and then if you do want to rotate your text, let's say 90 degrees, and then just make sure that you put it somewhere in the middle, and one click and done. That's it. And the finished result will look like this. Absolutely amazing. Like the quality is so good. The printing, the slicing, absolutely unbelievable. Here we also have some text references that I made earlier as well on this same print. 100% recommend. You have to try it out right away. But there's one thing that I do feel like you should know in order to just get like the best workflow experience, and that is to limit the number of colors and also choosing which specific colors that you want. So if you do go in here on the image brush tool again, and we actually gonna upload our new image for this purpose, and we're just going to take a cute little cat here that may or may not come straight from Google Gemini. And here we can also change the aspect ratio if you want, or maybe the most important tool is just remove the background and then the Mesh Graffiti will just do everything for us. And there is a little bit buggy, so sometimes you will actually not see the image here. Everything will just be completely gone. But if you do click next, everything has been saved properly, just like you will not really see it at this first little preview phase. And then what the Mesh Graffiti will do is to vectorize this image, which is not something you need to worry about at all if you have no idea what vectorizing or what vectors are, but something that you should worry about. And what you should worry about right now in this step of the process is the color mapping, or rather the color limiting. For example, I assume that most of us are going to be limited to 4 colors with, for example, a BumpMesh A1 with an AMS light. Then this is where we are going to limit the number of colors from 15 in this case, based on the image that I created with Google Gemini. And as we do decrease the number of colors from 15 to 4, you will see that Mesh Graffiti in this case has actually done a lot of the mapping for us and also selected the colors that they think we should use based on the original image. But if we do want to change or edit the colors, we just click in here, and then we have the entire color matching and the color mapping or the color limits here. If you do want to change the color, for example, you do want a little lighter blue, you just go in here and then you have changed this, well, that turned out to be a darker blue, but a lighter blue up here. You have changed this entire image, and also these colors will be automatically mapped to this new color as well. But something that is super cool, especially if you are a BumpMesh user, you can just click here and you can actually choose the exact filaments that you want to use as well. So on customs, you have the actual color if you do want to match it with some other non-BumpMesh filaments later. But if you have filaments here, you can just choose whatever kind of like a blue. For example, we're gonna go with cyan, and then later on, spoiler alert, these exact colors will then automatically be added in your Bamboo Studio project, which is just super cool. And then we have, in this case, these 4 different colors. And if you do want to change, for example, anything that was magenta before, you do want it blue, you can right away see how this little cat will be different. But let's say that you have found like the perfect color combination for your cat. Then all you have to do is to click confirm, and then this little cat will be added as a tag. And then all you have to do is just line up the cat exactly how you wanted. Down here as well, you do have some slightly different kind of rotating tools. I'm not entirely sure how you would use this and like why it needs to be so complicated. Here you can also change the actual size and also the rotation of the actual image or the graffiti as you want. There we go. Here we have the final design all ready to be exported and added into Bamboo Studio. But just keep in mind something that I completely forgot is that the overall like STL file, in this case the stackable box, also needs one of those filaments. So actually you only have 3 colors to paint this cat with if you do want to have this stackable box, in this case, in another 4th color. But yeah, I think you understand the overall point. And of course, it works perfectly on round surfaces as well. Here we have a bubble milk tea little prints that I have created in, of course, Mesh Graffiti. We can also make entire like boxes in this case, which I don't recommend because the printing time for this specific box was like 2 hours or something. So although it doesn't use that much filament, it's just not really worth it, I think. And that was everything about Mesh Graffiti and how to add graffiti, images, or even text onto your 3D prints. Next up is another super new tool that is all about adding textures to your prints. And that tool or that website is called BumpMesh, made by no one else than CNC Kitchen, which, if you don't know, is also a 3D printing YouTuber, much more experienced than I am. So if you do feel like my content might be a little bit too beginner friendly, definitely go and check out Stefan from Germany if you haven't checked out his videos before. I swear to God, I found this tool on my own, and I started using this tool like 1 or 2 days before Stefan made his own introduction YouTube video about this tool. So he kind of ruined my plans a little bit, but of course this is his tool and no one would explain this entire tool better than the creator himself. So instead of me just going and repeating everything that he, or like 10% of what he's saying in his video, I'm just gonna link to his video down in the description below. But basically what I can tell you is that this tool is absolutely amazing. I have used this for my swatch labels in this case, and I've also used this to these exact same stackable boxes. Here we have some, I think this is the box texture, and then we also have some different brick textures, and yeah, just go crazy. You can upload your own textures as as well. Again, Stefan will explain everything in his own video. One thing that I really like is that per default, I think, the bottom would not actually be textured. If it's not by default, you have a super simple setting because you don't want the bottom to be textured because it will be uneven and you will have a not so great printing experience. And if you do want to support Stefan a little bit extra, he also receives some donations via PayPal, or you can also go and visit his shop as well to purchase something from him that I think he will appreciate very much. And hopefully you will also appreciate the third tool we have here today, which is all about cleaning up the build plate in this case. So, I don't know about you, but I do have this issue a little bit more often than I would like to. And basically that is that you have some kind of filament residue that is still on the plate that is just impossible to get rid of, even like with the scraper. The number one, at least that I have found, a solution for this would be to print like a sacrificial layer over the entire plate and then just use that 1 or 2 layers of filament to peel off this remaining residue filament that is already stuck on the plate. But I always thought that that solution is a little bit wasteful and just takes a little bit more time than I wanted to take, especially if I only have like residue in one specific place on my build plate. One way you can do this, and what I've been doing up to this point, is to kind of like eyeball it where it is on the build plate and then just created like one kind of like a primitive cube covering like 1 or 2 layers over that specific area. In this case, it would be quite easy because it's right here next to the BumpMesh logo. But if you have some larger build plates, especially without any logos, it could be quite difficult to actually eyeball exactly where these kind of residues are. But that is where 3D Plate Mate comes in, where you can actually take a photo of your build plate, upload it to this software, and then you can actually download a print that would only cover areas that actually has this residue. One thing to note though is that this software seems to be calibrated for you taking a photo straight on top of the build plate. So if you do take it from an angle, there might be some like math calculation algorithm issues, so don't try to just highlight the actual residues exactly. Do leave like a margin of like maybe 10 to 15 millimeters around the residue, because I had to do it twice just to make sure that I got everything, although it looked perfect in the software. I don't know, maybe this last one is just a gimmick that will just be fun to use once or twice, but I have bookmarked this and I'm gonna continue using this way instead of just like trying to design or my own little primitive cubes that would cover these specific areas. But hopefully you found at least some or maybe all of these tools helpful. And if you also found this video helpful in general, please do remember to subscribe to this channel to show your support, and don't be like those 79.2% of people who don't subscribe if you do find this video helpful and useful, because who knows, maybe next time I make some even more useful tips that will help you even more. Regardless, thank you all so much for watching this video. My name is Lucas. Start with L as in like, ends with S, and subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.